this is part 2. I was pretty much done at the end of the other one anyways, but it cut off, so I'm going to make this into 2 different things and title these. It's all one sermon, but I'm going to call these two different things. So if we go back to Isaiah 40:31, it says, "But they that wait upon the Lord shall renew their strength. They shall mount up with wings as eagles. They shall run and not be weary, and they shall walk and not faint." So God is the God who gives us strength, right? He's the God of the waters. He's the God of the strength. So I was telling Brother Jason yesterday, I was like, sometimes I don't like to hear this. I don't like this verse. Sometimes I do. I love it. Well, at the same time, sometimes I don't, because I want to get to the end of the journey, because you're tired of the enduring, the suffering, the process, the whatever. But as Sister Amy says, He's the God who likes the journey and the process. We're the ones who want the deliverance. We want out now. And there's good reason for that. But we want to get to the promises. We want to get to the end. But He's like, I'm about the journey. And so it's an encouraging verse, but sometimes it doesn't feel very encouraging when you're tired of the weight and tired of the fiery furnace of affliction and all the things. But I had a story I wanted to share about this, and it goes back to the kayaking story. If you saw that, if not, you could go watch that one. It's like, I think 13 minutes, but it's kind of the same thing, in that you don't give up, don't quit. It's like you're going down that river, and it was so hard. It felt at times like we're never going to make it. I'm never going to get there. But I knew I would. I just had to keep going. You might can stop and rest a minute. You might have to get out and walk your boat a little bit where it's shallow. Take a break and rest. You might get turned around backwards. But the thing is, you're going to make it because you were ordained to. You're going to get to the end. You're going to get to your promised land. You're going to get to whatever God has for you. It's just a long, hard process and takes way more time sometimes than what you want. And in that process, in the difficult things that you don't like, it actually is birthing things in you and growing things in you, and it's all for a reason. He doesn't do nothing for no reason. Like it says, the Bible says in Ecclesiastes, there's a season and a time for everything. There's a reason and a purpose for everything under the heavens. So it's all for our good and His glory. There is a reason for the wait. There is a reason for the process. And what I keep hearing is it's going to be worth the wait, but it's hard when you're in the wait. And sometimes you're encouraged and it's okay, but other times it's just not. But, so I have a story that's similar to the kayaking story, and it's about not giving up. It's about having the strength, but it's about not quitting, but it's about God giving you the strength to endure. So it's not about, I'm going to deliver you out right now. It's like, no, you're going to go through this and you're going to grow patience. You're going to gain patience from this. You think you don't need it, but you do. That's what He told me in the middle of being stuck in traffic yesterday. He said, you have need of patience. And I said, I don't want patience. And I just asked Brother Jason, please pray for me that my heart would not fail. And I said, this is why I'm going through this right now, because I just asked for prayer for that. It's like basically asking for somebody to pray for you to have patience. And I'm like, why did I ask that? But it's that, He's trying to grow patience in you. So He gives you the strength to endure, to get to the end. He gives you the encouragement. He gives you that boost, that extra whatever to help you along the journey. As you want the journey to end, He's like, no, I want you to become more like me. I want you to rise up into all that I have for you and all that I've created you to be and do, to rise up into that fullness of what I know you can be. And you're just like, just get me to the end. And it's like, the wait is for a reason. The amount of time it's taking is for a reason. How hard it is for a reason. And you can't see it or understand it. He might show you little glimpses, but you can't fully understand it because you're not in the future like He is. He knows what you're going to face in the future. He knows what you're called to. He knows what you're going to walk in. And so the things you're going through now are birthing things in you for later on. And so it hurts now. It feels ugly now. You don't like it now. You're tired of it. And you've been waiting and waiting for so many years for some stuff. But it's for a reason, and He's growing things in you. So me and Nikki had went to visit Brother Jason and Sister Christy, and was spending time with them, and we were playing pickleball and badminton and just enjoying family fellowship and having time with them, visiting. And on the way back, we went our usual route, and it's supposed to take an hour and 10 minutes, just about, maybe a little more in the evening traffic. Well, there was apparently some kind of accident. And about near the Ooltewah exit, it was backed up pretty bad. And it was going to take us down the Ooltewah exit, but that was going to take 45 minutes. And I was like, there's no reason it should take that long to get home. oh, there's only like a 12-minute delay here, because I was looking at my phone on the map and I was like, oh, there's only like a such and such amount of delay here. And we were about 10-15 minutes away from home if we would have stayed on that stayed on the interstate, 15 to 20 minutes away. But that 15 to 20 minutes turned into like 2 hours and 30 minutes. And then suddenly it was dark and it was like, why are we still not home? So I did not realize, had I looked far ahead on the map, I would have realized, oh, all the way to Cleveland to the exit 20 is backed up and there's an accident somewhere. Well, after 30 minutes goes by, and then an hour, and then 2 hours, you're like, why are we still barely moving? Like, how is it not cleared up? Me and Nikki were coming back from McKay's the other day, and there was an accident. It looked pretty bad. I saw the cars, 2 or 3 cars, and there was only like a 10-minute delay. And it's like, why is this one a 2-hour delay? And it was just so weird. Everything about it was weird. I didn't see when we finally got cleared, 2 hours and 30 minutes later, I didn't see any construction. I didn't see no wreck. I don't know what the deal was. But the truckers were like getting off on the side of the road. I didn't know what that was about. We saw some cops and a state trooper like walking around them and stuff. And I was like, I didn't understand anything that was going on, but I was highly frustrated, and so was Nikki, because it's like sometimes we were at a complete stop and it felt like it was never gonna end. Sometimes you were barely itching along, break, go, break, go, break, go. Then you would get just a few minutes of like a minute or two of like, wow, we're picking up speed. Now we're going 30 miles per hour. And I said, Nikki, this is great. If we can just keep going, we'll get there. But when we stop, that's when we can't go anywhere. And I was like, oh my Lord, the Lord is speaking to me. When you stop and don't go nowhere, then you're not going to go nowhere. So you got to keep going, because you're eventually going to get to where you're supposed to be if you just keep going. So you might have to stop sometimes, and some things are out of your control and they're not up to you. It's at the hand of the Lord, right? But some things, you might have to take a break, or you might just be inching along. But, a little progress is better than no progress. So, you'll eventually get there. It just might take longer. So I was totally like annoyed, but also like, well, Lord, I pray everybody's okay in that wreck, but I'm like, I don't do well in the patience department. I didn't get that fruit of the Spirit. I struggle with that one my whole life. And I'm thinking, surely by now, how do I not have more patience? I'm like, but he's like, you have needed patience. And I'm like, Lord, we've been going through this how many years? I ain't no more patient than I have ever been. Unless, people around me, or somebody, maybe could see it. Maybe I have more than I realize. I don't know. But I don't feel any more patient. I felt highly annoyed. And like, I want to get home and I want to eat supper and all these things. And we were tired and hurt all over, and you're cramped in the car. And it's like, we could have been home in 20 minutes, and instead it was like 2 hours and 30 minutes, or maybe closer to 3 hours. And I was like, this is ridiculous. I don't want patience, Jesus. That's what I was telling him. I don't want it. I don't need it. It's okay. And so Nikki was driving, so because I had drove on the way up there, so she was driving on the way back, and I was like looking at the map and everything. And it was starting to get dark, and you're just truly feeling like hopeless and like helpless, and like, we're never gonna make it. We're never gonna get there. And at some point, probably about 2 hours in, I was like, wait a second, Nikki, we're gonna get home. We will get there. It just might take a long time. So even if it takes 5 hours or longer, like, we're literally gonna get there eventually. And the Lord began to open my eyes and speak to me about promises, about certain other areas of my life. It was like he was showing me a picture, like giving me a taste, like, see what you're walking out right now? It applies over here. And I kind of thought maybe this is how it works, because the Bible's all like, you need patience. And I don't remember that one verse, but it's like, I don't even know why I'm trying to quote it, because I can't even remember, but it's about when you endure, then it produces this, and then it produces this, and then it produces this. And it's like, if you go through these things, it produces patience. And so in my head, it's like, oh, then you'll be more patient when you get to the next battle or the next whatever. And maybe that's the case, but I didn't feel any more patient going through all the things I went through in my life. I didn't feel any more patient in that moment yesterday, stuck in traffic. And I thought maybe it kind of goes like this. You can be more patient because the Lord is showing you what's going on in this area is what I'm going to do over here in this other area that you're having to wait in, that you're struggling through, that you're fighting through, that's frustrating, that you're tired of, that you're waiting on promises, that you're waiting on deliverance, that you're waiting on whatever, that you're waiting on your help and your Savior Jesus to come through to rescue you. He's showing you this is how this is working right here. So then it's going to be, and so then you see like, oh, okay, well, if that's what's going on here, then over here in this area, it's the same thing. and I'm going to make it, and I'm going to get to the end, and I'm going to get to my promises, and it is going to get better because the Lord did it over here, type of thing. And so then you, I think, can be more encouraged. You can have more patience some days, maybe not every day, because you're seeing, how it's going in this area. And so he began to open my eyes and speak to me. And so, every time I would look at my phone, it would add time or it would take away time. And he's like, just quit looking at it. And I was like, that's exactly right. Because it's like, if you keep your eye on the storm, if you keep your eye on the distractions, if you keep your eye on those kinds of things, it feels like, oh, we're never getting there. And it was so discouraging. I felt like I was probably having anxiety. Like I was so annoyed, and you feel panic, like, we're not going to get there. But then at some point, like I said, I just realized, like, oh, wait, we are going to get there. Oh, whew, praise the Lord. We are going to get there. I think that's what it felt like. Like, we're never going to get home, and you're tired, and you hurt all over, and all the things. And it's like, how much longer can we endure and take of this? But you realize, oh, we are going to make it. And I think that's when it kind of turned around, and I felt encouraged and uplifted a little bit. And I had some food in the back in a cooler, some leftover food. And the Lord had sent Brother Jason and Sister Christy through text to message and check on us while we were going through all this. Praise the Lord. So I didn't feel alone. And he was like, get back there and get you some food. I was like, I don't want to get out in the traffic. So I was like, I could climb in the back seat. So finally at one point, I just was like, I felt like it was the Lord actually speaking through him. It's like, get in the back seat, get your food. So I went and I was like, I'm gonna crawl to the back seat in the dark, and I'm like crawling over the console. The car's like, stop, go, stop, go, stop, go. And I crawled over the console, got in the back seat, like was over the back of the seats in the back, and like pulling my cooler, could not get it over. So I'm like having to unlatch it. If the people in the car behind us all say probably like, you're crazy, what are you doing? And I'm like pulling my box of salad out, and it's like leaking dressing because I can smell it. And I'm like, oh great, dressing's all in this. And I'm getting it, and I feel like I'm getting it over my seat, and I can't even see. Thankfully I had a napkin and a fork in the console area, and I'm like, I can't even see how to eat this food. But at this point, I just felt like my spirits were lifted, and I was eating my food, and I was just calmed down, and it just felt like it's okay, we're gonna get there. And we, like I said, we were probably closer, so it's like surely we're about there. I quit looking at my phone every 2 seconds to see how much time has been added now or not added. You quit fretting like, what is taking so long? You quit thinking about all that, and like instead you're just like, I'm just gonna eat some food, and I'm just going to chillax. And my friends are here through text, checking on us, seeing if everything's okay, if we made it home, what's going on, And so we didn't feel alone. And I noticed all other people around us also were still stuck in that traffic. And I saw other people on their phones in their car, like texting, like probably feeling the same way I was. So along the journey, there are other people, and they're going through stuff too. So you're never alone. And I ate my food, and that story about Elijah came to me. About how he was under that tree, and the angel came to me and was like, wake up, here, get you some food. And then he went back to sleep. So it was kind of like, take a break, calm down, like remember that God is in control. You just called fire down out of heaven. Remember that, Elijah? God is still the same God, and he's gonna get you through this. And so it was like, once I got in the back seat, right, and like God drive, well, Nikki was driving, but you know what I'm saying? Like I quit worrying about it, and I let God take control, and I quit looking at my phone and quit worrying about everything. And I just sat there and I ate my food in the dark. I was like, wow, we're making memories. This is great. It's like my whole attitude changed. I mean, I don't think my attitude was that bad to begin with. I was just been out of shape. I was just like, like dealing with not having patience. But I just felt so much better. But all I was doing was a change of scenery, a change of seating. I went from the front to the back, and it was like, quit worrying about stuff, quit thinking about stuff. And when you let stuff go, and we know these messages, I've preached them to myself and others, it's like, just let it go, quit thinking about it, and it'll get here quicker. And it's true. So I just sat there in the dark eating my salad, and I had my buddies with me, and I had Nikki with me, and we had people around us. We were all in it together, and I was like, what a gift from the Lord. Like, along your journey, he will give you little gifts. He will give you friends. He will give you food. And there might be times where you don't have certain things, and you just have to suffer through. But, there's plenty of other times where he gives you little things to help you along the way, to encourage you, like that word at the right time, like that song, that verse, that whatever, that friend friend that messaged you to encourage you. Just little things, just, going to play pickleball and badminton with the Humberts yesterday, that lifted me up and helped me along my journey and all my waiting and all the frustration, all the things I'm going through. So these little things, they're actually not little, but they don't seem so big, but they all add up, and it's God strengthening you, God encouraging you, God helping you through your journey that seems to be taking forever and longer than you wanted, and you're frustrated, and there's good reasons, that you want it to be over, and you're frustrated, and you're tired, and all the things. But if you just take a back seat and eat some food and calm down and quit worrying about it and thinking about it, and just be grateful that you got a fork and a napkin, that you got some leftover food, even though it's like by this point like 9 o'clock, it don't matter. It's okay. And you've got friends with you to be there in the midst of it, so you're not alone. It was like memories being made. I was like, now we'll look back on this and remember, hey, remember that time you crawled in the back and got your salad out and then you were spilling dressing everywhere and we were stuck in traffic for 2 hours? It's like you'll look back and you'll laugh at stuff. You'll look back and you'll be thankful for it. So the quicker we can learn to be thankful for it in the middle of it and keep our smile, keep our peace, have joy in the middle of it, the Lord's like, I'm trying to grow stuff in you. You think it's enough. You think you're done. You think that this is enough waiting. I was done at 30 minutes. I was done in an hour. I was done in 2 hours, but 2 hours and 30 minutes, really, Jesus. It's like the Lord's like, no, you need a little bit more patience. You need to hang on, sister. I need to grow some things in you. I need to get some stuff out of you and put some stuff in you. And so that's the same that can be said for any journey or any battle or anything we're going through, any storm. He's the God that gives you strength and encouragement along the way before the deliverance comes, before the time of things is fulfilled, before the ordination that you're going to walk in comes, before that you're fulfilling and walking in that calling, before whatever it is. He's the God that gives you strength. He renews your strength. So if you wait upon him, you trust in him, you turn to him, that shepherd, remember, that was carrying you in his bosom and with his strong arm, the same God that, allows these things to happen and puts you in these things, it's for a reason. And so I was beating myself up and about in tears because I thought if we would have just took that Ooltewah exit, but I did not realize it went all the way up, that bad traffic did. And so I thought we were okay. Then you get past the exit and there's no way to get back and there's no other exit. And so I was like, this is my fault. And I've totally messed this up. And I was getting kind of upset about it, But I think we had to go through that for a reason because I had need of patience. And the Lord was trying to give me a message right here that I can share with other people, just like the river thing. One, don't quit, don't give up. But two, I'm going to give you strength along the way. And when you feel like you can't make it no more, I'm going to give you say, I can't do it no more. And I have been the person to say that I don't know how many times. But he says, you can do it. You're going to do it. And I'm going to help you do it. And I'm going to uplift your spirits. I'm going to give you joy for the journey. I'm going to give you peace in the midst of the chaos and the frustration. I'm going to give you friends to help you along your way and to lift up your arms like Aaron and Hur did Moses. I'm going to give you a song. I'm going to give you the word of God. I'm going to give you a sister, a brother, a friend. I'm going to give you some food. I'm going to give you some stuff to help you and to strengthen you. And so then it says you'll run and not be weary. You're going to walk and you're not going to faint. So when you feel like your heart is failing you and like you're about to faint, wait upon the Lord because he will come through for you. That don't mean you're getting delivered right this second. That don't mean you ain't going to have to sit through 2 hours and 30 minutes of traffic. You're going to have to go through some stuff, but he will give you the strength to endure it. He will equip you. He will enable you. And then when you get to the other side of it, you're going to have things produced in you that you need for whatever it is that he has for you down the road to walk in, to do, to be the person he's called you to be. So you have to go through these things. We need the process. And as much as I beg God to get me out of stuff sometimes and like I can't take this no more, I'm also like, Jesus, I know I do need it. I do need it. I need the process. So it can be frustrating. But be encouraged because he's right there with you in it and he gives you the strength and to get through it. And then when we got to the exit, it just suddenly cleared up and it was like, it didn't make any sense as to why and where all the traffic suddenly went. Like, why did it randomly just clear up when you got right there to the exit? It literally was one of those things that it made no sense. And this is the Lord. This is at the hand of the Lord. I mean, I knew it was, but I definitely knew it then. But it's all at the hand of the Lord. And when you're going through things and they don't make sense and they don't add up and you're like, this is ridiculous and this is annoying and there's no need for this. This is unnecessary because that's how we were feeling, right? until we learn to have joy in the moment and take a back seat and just be like, you know what, this is going to be great memories. And who even cares at this point? It's 9 o'clock. We'll get there eventually, you know. When things don't like feel like this is right or this is unfair or this is unnecessary or whatever, there is a reason for it. And so suddenly the traffic cleared, and it's like, well, I saw no accident. I saw no construction. I don't know what the deal is. I don't know why we're still inching back to back here. But then when you get to this one spot, suddenly it's clear. And then we got off the exit and we got home and we were on the home stretch. I was rejoicing. But you know, the thing is, I was rejoicing even back when I realized, or I was encouraged, rejoicing, whatever word you want to use, even back when we were still stuck in traffic. And I think that's the goal, is to rejoice in the middle of it, because you know you are going to get home. That's when it happened. When it just hit me, you're going to get home. It's just going to take a little longer than you wanted and thought. I was encouraged in that. And sometimes it's not encouraging because you're like, well, great, we're still waiting, right? But in this instance, the Lord gave me strength and encouragement, and I must have received it, and it really helped me turn the whole thing around. And I felt joy and encouragement, and even in the midst of the waiting and the traffic and the feeling like it's never going to end and it doesn't look good right now. And then when we got to the exit and we're on that last 10-minute drive home, about 10 minutes or so, that last stretch, it was like I was really rejoicing then, because I saw the signs of the time. Like, I saw what was ahead. I knew where my home was. I was like, I'm going home. I've got some promises, right? Like, I got things coming up ahead, and I feel them coming. I know they're coming. And so, I like to think, it says we're not ignorant of the devil's devices. Well, I like to think we're not ignorant of God's ways either. And he does talk to his children. He does show you things. He does help you. And Sister Amy was teaching it the other day. We're supposed to know the signs of the seasons that we're in, the times that we're in. And so when you can feel it and see it coming up ahead, it really encourages you. And then when we got home, I was definitely rejoicing. And I was in such a good mood, as to where 2 hours and 30 minutes prior, after we'd already drove an hour. So that whole trip ended up being, I guess, over 3 hours. And it's normally like an hour and 10-minute drive. So, and it felt, like I said, ridiculous. But, by the time I got home, I could have been frustrated. I could have been complaining. I could have been like, that was ridiculous. But no, I was encouraged. I was rejoicing. And too, I think I was happy because the Lord would show me things. Oh, how I'm helping you in this situation and what I'm showing you in this. It's the same thing over here. If you'll do the same thing over here in this area in your life, it's going to go so much smoother, and it's going to go the exact same way. You're going to get home. You're going to get home. You're going to get home. Your promises are going to be fulfilled. I keep my word, and I'm a faithful God. He said, he's like, I'm not unrighteous, or is that what it says? To forget your labor of love. He says he's faithful to 1,000 generations. He owns the cattle, 1,000 cattle on, or the cattle on 1,000 hills, however the verse goes. Sometimes I'm not good at quoting verses, but you're going home. You're going to make it. It just might take a little longer than you thought, and be a lot more frustrating and a lot more suffering. It might feel like torture at times, and like, this is unnecessary and this is ridiculous, but you're going to get there. I promise. You are. You have to make it. You got Jesus on your side. You got Jesus in you. So he's going to take care of his children. He's going to take care of you. Like, if he's giving you promises and he's giving you things, like, why would he not see it through? Why would he not make sure you rise up into the fullness of your sonship? Like, he wants it more than you do. Why would he not see to it that you are walking in the calling, the ordinations he has on your life, whatever he has ordained for you to do and be and whatever? It may feel like you're never going to get there. You're never going to do it. But it's like, if he called you to it, then he's going to see you through it. And he's going to make sure you get there. And he's going to make sure you're the exact person for that job, for whatever it is, because that's who he's created you to be. Exactly to fit, exactly for what he has for you. So you're growing into that right now. And he's helping you. So be encouraged in that. We can have joy along the journey. We can have strength along the journey. We can have peace along the journey. He gives us those things. He gives us his strength. And we'll mount up as wings, mount up with wings as eagles. We are those eagles. We soar. They soar above the clouds. Brother Jason told me one time, he said something like, you need to get like above the cloud thinking, quit looking at the ground and like think above the clouds, like get above the clouds, because above the clouds, there's not the storm. And so you have to have clarity. You have to have a right perspective. You have to have a godly Jesus perspective. And just know that he's going to give you the strength and the endurance and the whatever you need. to get through the journey. And it's okay to pray for it, even though it sounds scary and it might cause you some frustration. And I said, I ain't never praying for patience again. Who's praying for patience for me? Why did I say this, or why did I pray that? It's going